report that they receive some return on investments in AI, which I think is pretty good stat. But 78% say they use, and 78% use AI in more than one business function. The slide has listed more than one. 56% of chief execs see no return on investment, and 25% only see the expected results, so nothing more. These figures show me, or should tell us, that we are getting some return on investment, but we're not hitting the targets that we should. And this is why I'm talking about return on investments in AI projects. I'd like you to grab your phone because we're going to have a slightly interactive session today. If you can use the QR code to scan, or you can just type slido.com in your browser, and the password is ROI-AI. What I want to ask you today is a simple question. If I gave you $1 million today as option one, or option two, I gave you $1 and I will double it every day for the next 21 days. Yes, you came to the right presentation. I'm handing out free money. Let me know what you would choose. The $1 every day will double. So today I will give you $1. Tomorrow I'm going to give you 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Let's see how good my maths is. 128. What would you choose? Log into Slido and let me know. I'm going to see if I can share results on screen live for you as well. Oh, well, that's interesting. Really interesting. Okay, so keep going about that. But if you notice, people are $1 doubled every day for 21 days. I gave this problem to my 10-year-old daughter, and she said she went with the option that was the double. This shows you differently. So option two in this case, option one where it doubles every day. When I was first heard this problem, I was like, oh, I know mathematically the right answer here is the doubling. I mean, why else? Why would you ask me this question and then specifically give me the 21 days? I don't have to mathematically work it out. It's probably the right answer. But if you asked me this, if this was a real question and you met me on the street, I would take the 1 million today. My intuition would just say, take the 1 million today, $1 doubled for the next 21 days. Who knows what Trump is going to do in the next 21 days? Let's just take it now, change the currency and move on. This is the way my brain was thinking of it, or working towards this. Let me just swap my slides around and I'll continue. Find my slides. Here we go. So really the right answer really is option where you are doubling it. Sorry, I was going to say option two, but it's different on the different screens. Because if you took the $1 and it grows exponentially, so by day 21, you're going to have 2 million. But our brains don't really work this way. Intuition basically steers us towards linear. We don't really understand exponential growth unless we are mathematically inclined. And I think this audience is mathematically inclined, so I'm going to start to adjust my presentation as we go through. AI is growing at an exponential growth rate. Every few months, the capacity, the technology doubles. We have new use cases, new tools. It is growing at such a rapid rate. And we all know this because that's why you are here for this talk, because you know we have to pay attention to what AI is doing. Our leaders are asking us to move fast, act quickly, and they want return on investment, ASAP. But that's the problem. The technology is growing at an exponential rate, but the business value that doesn't quite grow at the same exponential growth. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 actionable tips that you could use in your organization and on your projects. I wanted to share this quick kind of timeline just to really embed the exponential growth. Yeah. In the 1960s, we had A&I. When I was at university, I learned machine learning. But right now, we use Gen AI. And what's coming is agentic AI, which is really going to change the way we work. This is really where I see in the curve we are about to pick up into the exponential growth. So as I go through my presentation, keep that in mind of where we are potentially in this curve around AI. So I was thinking, how can I explain return on investment from AI to you? This weekend, I was at a show at my village. I'm based in Switzerland for those that I haven't introduced myself to. And it was one of those community events in a school hall, so low key. And I was trying to get to my seat, which was at the back of the hall, because we booked our tickets late. And I tripped on something. I tripped on the camera's tripod. And later, as I was working on this presentation, I thought, that's really a good tool or metaphor for me to use to describe AI return on investment. You can think of it as 3 legs: your data and your process arm, and your platforms and tech. I know when I've zoomed through the chat boxes, I know that I have some real technical people in the audience. I'm sure you can tell me that most organizations really invest in these 2 arms. But what I find as a change manager is that adoption arm is not generally taken care of. It's not invested in, and it's always sometimes added in as an afterthought. So my 5 actionable tips today is going to be around adoption. Let's start with tip number 1. AI fails when people are an afterthought. Because the return on investment doesn't happen in the model. It happens in the workflow. So leaders of ask me, who can they amplify? But really what they should be asking is, where are people losing time, focus, and clarity in the workflow? And that is, where is it that they should remove the friction? Actionable point 1 is design for human amplification. How do you do this? You identify where people lose time, focus, and clarity. Identify your human problem. So look at your process from start to finish. Where is it that people are getting stuck? That's where you need to apply AI. Apply it to reduce the cognitive load and measure success by the human capacity that you have unlocked. The thinking behind this is that cognitive overload kills adoption. Reducing mental load will increase engagement. This is the structure I will use for all 5 of my tips. So I'm going to start with a statement, and then I will show you how you can implement the action. The next one, AI creates value when it shows up in the moment of work. That has something that's extra or added on, but in the moment of work. So I bring my friendly AI robot to my meeting and it sits next to me. Unfortunately, it's not here today, so it's not prompting me as effectively as it should. But leaders ask, how do we use AI? How do we get people to use AI? That's what people come to me, they ask, how do I get more people to use this? What do I need to do? Do I need to train them? Do we need to communicate more? But really, the question that they should be asking is, where should AI show in the workday? Because once in tip 1, we identified the problem. And in tip 2 is you embed AI at the point of friction. So how do we do this? We identify the moments where the decisions are made and place AI directly into those moments. And then we reduce the steps between the insight and actions. We make it easier for them so that it's not difficult to use. the neuroscience behind this is the brain avoids interruption. So don't interrupt me. AI sticks when it reduces steps and not adds them, and not when you add to them. Okay, I've spoken for a few minutes now. Let's do an exercise. I'd like you to think about one workflow in your organization where people lose time every day. It could be deviations in manufacturing, training completions, change requests, customer complaints, forecasting. I'm not sure. Think of an example. Where do people leave the system to ask for help? Can I use Slido? I just need to move the question to the next one. Let's see what your answers are. So where does the workflow slow down today? In finding the right information, switching before tools, steps are unclear, manual documentation, training gaps, maybe approval bottlenecks. Ah, there's people. That's good. Finding the right information. That's good. Does anybody want to share a little bit about that? I'm happy for you to be unmuted. Oh, sorry. I think I might have. This is my slide, so those are not the answers that you're generating. Just moving things along a little bit. But please continue to think about that. Then I will continue. Okay, so the takeaway from this exercise is in step one, we identify where the work slows down. And in step two, we embed AI support directly into the moment that we have a problem. I like this image because it reminds me of what happens in real organizations. Everybody wants AI to drive their projects. They want them to sit in the seat next to them and be part of the projects. If you're in an organization, you want Copilot or ChatGPT, you want to be part of that initial group that has it. This was probably a few years ago, and you want it. You want to be able to use this new technology, and you want to be part of this. But what happens after go live? After you successfully deploy these tools? Sometimes the car starts to go astray. And you kind of then think it's the engines that's the problem. So maybe there's something wrong with Microsoft Copilot, the platform. Maybe it's the maps, so the data could be wrong. Maybe it's governance control. But has in this point when the friction starts to happen, people start to lose trust. And this is when return on investment starts to decrease. AI delivers return on investment when ownership is clear. So you need to have clear ownership. And that's my action point number 3. Establish clear ownership. Know who is accountable. And this is very important for after go live. How to apply this? Assign a clear business owner for each AI capability. It's not just for the project itself, but for each of the AI capabilities. Define the right decisions, escalation paths, and guardrails. On Friday, GSDC had a great talk on guardrails, so you can go back and watch the review of that. Um, Treat AI as a living product, not as a one-time deployment, especially with agentic AI. Um, in AI, you can give it a number of prompts and it'll give you different outcomes. So it's not a straightforward linear tool. It is a tool that's going to develop over time. So this is not a one-time deployment. You need to think of it as a living product, a living product. The thinking here is unclear ownership increases uncertainty. It makes you stressed. Uncertainty reduces trust and follow through, and then you don't get drive adoption. Okay, R&R, a return on investment becomes real. Let's try and do another exercise here. Think of one AI use case in your organization right now. Okay, do you have something in mind? Okay, good. What would people do differently if it was truly working? Now ask yourself these questions, these three questions. Is it being used repeatedly? Is it reducing friction or effort? Is it changing outcomes, not just the activity? Okay, in the chat box, let me know how many of you realize you're not actually measuring return on investment this way today. Is this true? Does this resonate with you? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to use this as an example. Let me share my thinking. So, thinking of a use case. Okay, this is hypothetical. We introduce a version of ChatGPT to our organization because we work in a very controlled environment. We cannot use ChatGPT, but we want that ability to be able to have a ChatGPT type tool available to us. So we introduce one. What would people do differently if this was working? So let's assume we have introduced this tool. We call it Cup, and Cup has had a group. It started off really well. People were using it when we had go live, and then after it started to taper off, and in a couple of months nobody was using this tool. Everybody was trying to use ChatGPT rather than the in-house version of it. So it's not being used repeatedly. It's not reducing friction or effort because we should use this ChatGPT to draft emails or design presentations and do researches. Not happening. Does it change the outcomes and not just the activities? No, not really. So this example, I can say, isn't really being adopted, and it's not. And are we measuring return on investment of it? No, because my management team would say we have successfully implemented this tool. It's live, so tech, okay, but we don't know why it's not being used. Maybe it's a tool. Let's get a different version of this. So you can see where we are sort of slipping here. Okay, let's move on to my next tool, my next tip. AI delivers return on investments when behavior shifts, not just metrics. And look at this image. It's not quite great. And I actually would have redid it, but it's generated by AI. If I had to redo this in a month's time, this image generation is going to get much better. And that is really the exponential growth of these tools. I'll stop digressing and get back to tip number 4, which is measure behavioral impact. Leaders often talk about return on investment, and they think of it as investment, total benefits minus total benefits minus total investments. But what they should be thinking about it is, what are people doing differently because of AI? How do we enforce this? We change the way we track usage and activation over time. We measure the task and time decision. We measure task time and decision speech changes, and we do pulse checks on confidence and trust. The thinking behind this is behavioral changes beliefs. Beliefs changes before outcomes. And repeat that. Behavior changes before beliefs. Beliefs change before outcomes. I think this is really important. So I've added in an additional slide here. I'm not saying for return on investment, you shouldn't measure it in your traditional ways. I mean, you have your AI metrics, AI activity metrics like licenses purchased, users enabled, prompt runs, tool accuracy, model changes. Yes, that is good. What I am saying is we need to measure this. We need to also measure your behavioral return on investment signals. Are people trusting it? Do people use it repeatedly? Are workflows actually changing? Do decisions happen faster? Is there a drop in your error rate? Are outcomes improved? Return investment is not that AI exists. It's not that you now have Copilot enabled or ChatGPT or you have put AI into your complex systems. Return on investment is when people work differently because you've introduced AI. There are three ways to measure this: adoption, reliance, and replacement. And that brings me to action point 5. AI delivers return on investment when it becomes part of our daily routines. So leaders often ask, how do we train people on AI? I'm a change manager. People ask me for training and communication all the time. Really, what they should be asking is, how does AI become part of everyday work? How does it become a habit? And how do we reinforce everyday habits is step 5. So the actionable bits here is enable AI into existing routines. Create clear clues for when for when you use it, and reinforce the small visible wins. The neuroscience here is habits form where effort is low and reward is immediate. I'm going to let that reflect with you for a moment. Take a sip of tea at the moment. So, to really explain this, it's February, and one of my New Year's resolutions was that I would have protein for breakfast. I don't like breakfast. And having 3 eggs or lentils or something for breakfast just doesn't appeal to me. But I do like my cup of coffee in the morning. So I put in a protein powder into my coffee and I get my protein intake in the morning, and I've embedded this habit in part of my daily routine. So my problem or the point of friction was that I didn't quite like my breakfast or eating breakfast, but I did have a cup of coffee. So I embedded my I embedded a change of action in a habit that I was already doing. Now I need to figure out how to reinforce it so it becomes a action I take every day. Let's go back to my slide where I showed you the stats of organizations struggling to achieve return on investment from AI. We have the 13% that don't really work with AI, that can't achieve the 13, only 13% achieve return on investments within 12 months. The reason of this is that adoption takes a little bit more time. Within 12 months, potentially not, right? All of these stats, they to turn AI spending into our return on investment is hard. This is why you can use my actionable tips to help improve that. So I want to recap the takeaways. My first tip was design for human amplification. Start with the friction, wherever the problem is. Don't start with the tool. Don't start with Copilot or ChatGPT or your AI piece of software. Start with the human problem and then solve for that problem using your tools. Number 2 is embed the AI in the actual point of the workflow. So where is the problem? The problem for me is that I don't want to have breakfast. That's my frictional point. That is the point. So embed the solution in that spot. 3, establish clear leadership/ownership, because AI scales when accountability continues after go live, not just at the launch. If people once go live and there are problems, and if there's things that go wrong, if your ownership doesn't drive that, doesn't sit at that steering wheel as with that image and moves it along quickly, users are going to lose trust in the system, and then driving adoption becomes difficult. Measure behavioral impact. You got to change the way you measure return on investment for AI. Behavioral shifts before return on investment shows up. So in dashboards or financial results, this is why we saw those figures of approximately 13% achieve return on investment in the first 12 months. Because it might take a little longer for your investments to really deliver your return on investments. Number 5 is reinforce the everyday habits. Adoption sticks when AI becomes part of the routine. Make it part of the routine. Take out the friction. Make it part of what you do daily. And then reinforce and celebrate your small win. So that is my topic. It's around behavioral drives, return on investment, and people make I work. The one key thing I'd like you to walk away with today is real return on investment in AI isn't measured in the models and the metrics, but in the behavioral change of people. That's actually how we can deliver return on investment in AI projects. I'm Varuna Balmajam, a consultant in NIT. If you want a checklist on this, contact me via LinkedIn. I think they've just also put in my LinkedIn profile on the chat. I'm happy to share the deck with you, some checklists, and continue this conversation. I think we can open up to some questions. Yes, we can have a look at number 4. So tip number 4 is measuring the behavioral impact. And this is where you're going to track usage over time. And when I say, I'm just going to slip one more slide, it's really about the metrics. But when we think about metrics, we have generally a standard way of doing metrics, like how often is this piece of software used, how are users enabled. I mean, we track their activity, but to really measure behavioral changes, which is what drives your return on investments in AI projects, is we got to start to measure things around trust, repeated usage, workflow changes. And to do that, you got to do this by measuring adoption. How are people owning the system? Reliance is around the trust. Do they trust the information they get out of it? Like, am I trusting when I put things into ChatGPT? Do I trust it? And replacement. Do I change the way I actually work? Now, when I do a presentation, do I now still start with PowerPoint and do some slides? Which, if you see my deck, it's probably what I do. Or do I just go to ChatGPT and say, write me a whole presentation? It's that is how you drive adoption. So for me, I could say I'm on this learning curve for ChatGPT because my slides are generated by PowerPoint, but influenced by use of AI. We have an important no. So any other questions? You could drop it in the chat or speak up. I'm happy to take questions. Yes, thank you, Paul, for the question. And I'm just going to scan back up to see where everybody is from.
Hi, Varuna. I joined back. Thank you so much for handling the session so far. And as we are open for the Q&A, I would like to inform all the participants after the Q&A, I do have some great announcement for all of you. So stay connected till the end. And as we are open for the Q&A, you can drop your questions right away in the chat box. And after that, our speaker will be sharing a task for all of you. So stay connected till the end. Thank you.
I'm not sure. I've done my task as part of the presentation. Hopefully it is them that are sharing.
Okay, wonderful. Sorry, I wasn't there. All right. So let us know if you have any further question for Varuna. Otherwise, we can proceed with the closing. We have got one question from Madhu Sudana. What is the average investment for a medium-sized company?
I'm assuming this is with AI. It's, It's a little hard to say because I work with large enterprises, and we spend, I mean, on Gen A, that's a good question. So for a large enterprise, it's millions. To the honest truth, it's millions. You might spend X amount on your subscription fees, but then you pay consultants to come in to deliver it. You pay, you have to have leadership to drive it, and the cost really goes. If you add all of that up in large enterprises, they are spending millions on Gen A. Mid-sized enterprises probably whatever budgets people have, I would say rule of thumb, and I could probably get you a more clear stat is like 70 to 80% of our budget's now going to be spent on AI. Projects that say AI in it, if you want your manager to approve your next greatest idea, say you're using AI. Yeah. And so some of the things that I do is not direct, is AI related, but if we are putting in a really complex regulatory tool, I come in as a change manager and introduce a digital adoption system on top of that to help guide users, which is driven by, supported by AI. Um, and those products, I mean, your subscription costs are in the hundred thousands, but that's one part of it. You have to then pay your implementation costs, which is sometimes equal to your subscriptions. And I would say yes, easily. And this is not, this is on top of whatever your clever piece of software was. After go live, what is the minimum period which you can see return on investment? And what is the time period for break even? Really a very difficult question to ask generally, but just pulling back my stats that is out there is only 13% of companies achieve return on investment within 12 months. And this is from Deloitte's, the latest figures that they released in 2025. Um, so I would say not many people are going, if you want to say, I'm going to put in something and it's AI related, you need more than 12 months because only around 13%, it's 6 to 13%, if I remember correctly, are achieving these results within 12. So anything before 12 months, it's going to be very, very difficult to prove, unless you use some of my actions. What is the best framework to scale AI beyond pilots in organization, internal and clients? This is from Ken. So you were asking frameworks, and I'm like going to pause here because your people ask, what is the framework to do this on? It's really around shifting your behavior, the way you think. Framework's great, but it's the people that kind of come in and implement it. And the way we are implementing AI and we're doing pilots in organization, things are changing rapidly. We use your frameworks. Um, I'm ProSci certified, so in change management, I'm ACPMG. You use agile frameworks, but really you need to be very agile in the way you drive return on investment or working projects because this isn't AI is growing exponentially, and what you use today is not going to be what you're going to use tomorrow. You need to be able to adapt. Frameworks are great to tell you how to start and what to do, but with experience, you need experience and you need to build on that. We need to be adaptable. I don't know if that helps you, Ken. I mean, because I'm a change manager, we use ProSci. If you really want a framework, at NNIT we have structured frameworks for different things, whether it's like data migration, validation, or change management. Everywhere we have is frameworks, but really it's the people that are behind it. That's mine. thinking? Really good questions. You are challenging me. Maybe somebody could share something, instead of a question, but something that we could all learn from. Because can Gen AI be used as one of the tools for marketing? You could use Gen AI for everything. Can SMEs use and invest for marketing strategies as well? Um, Many, yes. I mean, AI can be used anywhere. And like as I said in my uh, talk, you have to understand where's your pain point, where's the friction, where is people getting stuck. So in your marketing process, where exactly are you getting stuck? That's where you put in your tool. You don't come in and say, oh, great, I have Canva. Canva's a great marketing tool. Like, I mean, it does some good slides. It's run by AI. It works really good with ChatGPT. You don't go in, okay, I'm working on industry. I'm going to roll out Canva to everybody, or I'm going to roll out Canva to my marketing team. And then I'm going to expect to receive some return of investments. What you need to look at is what is the problem the marketing team is having, not what is the tool. Solve for the problem with the tool. Don't just introduce the tool to solve a problem you're not even sure about. So in my yeah, yes, you could use Gen AI to do everything. And a Gen AI will do your marketing for you. So anything else? Does anybody have some reflections or things that that stood out, or maybe they struggled to understand, or they're like, oh, that's definitely something I'm going to use going forward? If not, thank you very much for your time. It was a great pleasure to talk to you. Can I, you said you cannot connect via LinkedIn. I thought if you could just click it and you can connect or send me a message. Uh, but I can share my details as well. Oh, I do, yeah. Thank you very much. And I will stop sharing my screen.
All right. Thank you so much, Varuna, for wonderful session. I'm sorry, dear participants, I was facing some electricity issue today, so I joined late. But if you have any questions for me regarding anything regarding the GSDC or certification, feel free to share your questions at preetham@gstcouncil.org. You will get the email address in the chat box. So thank you so much for the wonderful questions, and thank you so much, Varuna, again for covering and handling the session very well. And we'll look forward to have you for another session at GSTC as well. So dear participants, I'll be sharing my screen. As I said that I do have some great announcement for all of you. So this is regarding the today's feature session we had on. You can opt out for any of the certification. You can use this promo code, which is AI20, to get 20% discount on any of the certification. So you can go for certified AI tool expert, certified generative AI professional, foundation, agentic AI professional, foundation. You can check this promo code and apply this code. However, I would like to tell you all that with these certifications are globally recognized ones, will provide the learning resources where you will be getting a lot of case studies to work on, e-learnings and book of knowledge. These certifications are lifelong learnings, which gives you learning flexibility as well, and you will be getting chance to connect with our training partner channel, and you'll be having opportunity to work on capstone project, that is something real time AI simulation practice, right? So do grab this opportunity and do sign up yourself for the certification program. If you need any assistance or help, you can reach out to our learning advisors. They're always there to help. They'll able to provide the detailed information regarding all the certification and all the benefits as well. And this is regarding the utility tool. You can use this tool, you can use this AUG100 as a code to get 100% discount, which is completely free. What is this tool is about? This tool will help you to improve your LinkedIn profile score, your AI skill score. It will provide you improvement tips as well. It will help you to improve your skills, AI related skills as well, and it will also help you to build your personal brand, and it will help you to create AI generated resumes as well. So do check this out. You I have already shared the utility link in the chat box. You'll find it there. And let me make this announcement. We'll be continuing this another series that we are conducting currently in the GSDC. So this series is on ISO leadership reset, building a resilient, secure and accountable enterprise. This is scheduled this week from 2nd to 6th February 2026 with the time slot 8:30 a.m. Central, 10:30 p.m. Singapore, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. We do have incredible panel of experts lined up for this entire week. So do join us. You will find the registration link along with the WhatsApp link in the chat box. Also, we are running this another series on L&D reset, redefining skills, strategy, and business impact for the year ahead. Amazing speaker lined up for this series, which is starting from 9th February with the time control 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll find all the registration link. Dear participants, I do apologize again. I've lost the internet connection. So yes, I'll be covering the remaining slides. So you can refer your friends or colleagues to our session, and by doing that you can earn rewards which is worth $400. So take this opportunity and do refer maximum people to our session. It is something that you are taking step ahead and becoming thoughtful leader, isn't it? Right? So please do refer maximum people and be winner. All the winners will be getting back to them with the rewards, and top 3 winners will be featured on the GSDC Wall of Fame. And we would love to connect with you all over social media. You can scan this QR, connect with us over LinkedIn, check our website for more information regarding all the certifications that I've mentioned earlier. Also connect with us over WhatsApp group to get daily update on event, webinar and boot camps. Also connect with us over the community group, WhatsApp community group, to check all the new launches on the certification programs. And please do share your valuable feedback on reviews.io and let us know how you're finding our sessions, right? So in case if you're looking for any speaker opportunity ahead with the GSDC, feel free to reach out to us. You can write to me, you can share your speaker profile with me, and I'll make sure your profile is getting reviewed and our management by our management, and we'll be getting back to you with the speaker opportunity if all the criteria gets met, right? We do have a global platform like learning capsule, webinar and podcast. So feel free to share your speaker profile in case if you're looking for any speaker opportunity. And thank you so much for joining today's session. I hope to see you all for the upcoming and remaining session of this series. So thank you so much for joining today's session again. We'll meet again. Thank you. Thank you, Aruna.
Thanks, everybody, and goodbye.